to our Periscope for Interp Tuesdays, and we've been invited to participate in Interp Tuesdays, where different interpreters from informal learning education institutions get on Periscope, do a live broadcast, but it's also archived to YouTube after the fact. So today we're here in beautiful, beautiful Vancouver. I don't know if you can see through our screen. Our camera person will show a glimpse. It does not always rain in Vancouver BC. We have a gorgeous setting right here on False Creek. My name is Rhoda Klein, and I'm one of the educators here at Science World, and I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues to help us out. Hello, we're getting hellos. So I want to introduce you to Alex here on my left.
Hi everybody.
And Sam.
Hello.
And our camera person is our queen of digital media, Elizabeth Hand.
Hi guys.
She's also there. And so what we're doing today is we are unpacking this idea of learning conversations and how those conversations can actually have very unique structures, and an interpreter or an educator can be actually very conscientious about how they allow those learning conversations to take shape. So how many people are joining us right now?
So far 3.
Excellent. 3 is all we need. We've got my friends here to help answer this question. Welcome, number 4. Our first question to you for your feedback is, what is a characteristic of a good learning conversation? Do you have a word that comes to mind when you think of a really effective learning conversation? What's an aspect or an element? While you're typing, let me ask
Questions.
Alex.
We got the answers. Questions.
A good dialogue, good back and forth, not just one way.
A dialogue, so balanced.
Questions.
One of our viewers is suggesting that questions make a really great characteristic or component of a learning conversation. Yes, you would have questions that trigger some gears going on in the mind, some thinking happening. Sam, what comes to mind when you think of a learning conversation?
I think, questions are definitely important, and also the style of question. You want to find out maybe what people already know so that you're not standing there telling them things that they're already aware of. Observations as well. I think it's great to, if you're especially having a conversation about an object or something in a gallery, to point out if they've noticed a certain feature or how they've tried to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone else has brought up making connections.
Making connections, right? Yeah, so you're connecting the dots is another analogy we like to use here. So you have that picture, there might be a few dots, and you're just helping your learner connect the dots. And maybe some dots are connecting for you as an interpreter as well. So what we're going to lead you through is actually an aspect of one of the training sessions we do with our interpreter team here at Science World. We call them Science Facilitators, and during the fall when we have closed Mondays, we do a program that we adopted and kind of tweaked from the Lawrence Hall of Science called Reflecting on Our Practice, ROP for short. And one of the modules or sessions focuses on this idea that conversations are dynamic and can be shaped and can have patterns to them. So what we're going to do for you this morning is do a small segment from our ROP session. It involves a skit. We are not professionally trained actors. We are not going for an Oscar. So please grant us some latitude as we read off our lines. We have some props to help kind of make it realistic. And what we're going to do is use the exact same props, the exact same imagined setting that I'm an interpreter at an informal, in this case, think aquarium or marine science center. Alex and Sam are going to play the same kind of visitors, probably one's a child, one's maybe an older sibling. We're going to use the same props, same setting, and we're going to unpack this with you with 3 times. Now what I would like you to do as the observer is grab a pen and a paper, because you're going to try and note the pattern of talk in these learning conversations. So over here on my window, I'm going to give you a few codes which will make noting the conversation a lot easier. If I'm doing the talking, write down an E. That stands for educator. In your setting, you could use I for interpreter. V1 is short code for visitor 1, which will be Sam, and V2 will be shorthand for our second visitor, which will be Alex. So that's answering who is doing the talking. Next, you might want to note down how are they talking. If someone is sharing information, I use this little eye icon. If a question's being asked, I just note a question mark. And if there is confirmation or affirmation, maybe it's even praise, yes, that's right, I do a check mark. If I'm hearing correction, no, that's not right, I do a little X. So with those simple few codes, you can listen in on any dialogue happening at your center and get a sense of the pattern of talk that's happening between your educators, your interpreters, and your visitors. So we're going to demonstrate this, and hopefully after the first one you'll follow along and get a sense that there is a pattern going on. So we're going to just jump into skit number 1 here. I'm the educator, we're at a setting where I have some cool stuff.
Visitor number 1.
Yes.
All right.
Take it away.
Woo-hoo!
Take it away.
And scene. No.
And scene.
What is that?
Ooh, this is a sea otter pelt right here. Do you want to feel it? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and feel it. It's really soft, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's very soft.
Yes, I love the way it feels. Oh my goodness, and it's so thick.
Yeah.
Now, here. Take a close look at the fur. There you go. Use a magnifying glass. There you go.
I mean, we're sort of always conscious of the schooliness of the kindergarten audience.
This fur is thick.
Yes. Can you tell me how many hairs are in there?
Tons of hairs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of hairs. This little square is 1 square centimeter in size. Now, some scientists estimated that in that little square, there's over 155,000 hairs. Sea otters have more hairs in 1 square centimeter than you have on your entire head.
But that's great to know. I'll make a note of that just so the team's aware.
Now, why do you think sea otters have such thick fur?
Maybe it's because they come out on land at night and they get really cold.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's some really great
Yeah, it does feel cold when you get out of the water, doesn't it? Well, sea otters used to come out on land a lot, but now they hardly ever do. They spend almost all their days in the water, day and night. They live right here on the west coast in Vancouver, and they can be found all the way from Northern California to Alaska. The water is very cold. I have never heard of sea otters living in places with warm water like Hawaii. Have you?
Yeah, no, that's all part
No.
Thick fur is a structure that sea otters have that is an adaptation to survive in cold water. An adaptation is a structure or behavior that helps the organism survive. This thick fur traps in lots of air next to the skin, and that air insulates the skin from the cold water. But that's not the only adaptation they have. Another adaptation they have is a behavior. They eat lots and lots of food. If you ever get a chance to watch real sea otters, and I hope you do, they are just so cool. Notice that they are constantly diving down and eating food they catch. Have you ever seen a live sea otter?
No, but I've seen one on the Nature Channel, and I want to see sea otters here in the aquarium too.
Oh, well, the sea otters are just outside this gallery, and they are so cool. Did you know they have to eat a quarter of their weight every single day? And it's like an average 10-year-old ate about 40 or 50 sandwiches every day. Have you ever known someone who's like always eating all the time, and they just don't gain weight? Oh, I wish I was like that. Well, sea otters are like that, and they're eating all the time. They just burn off those calories so quickly in the cold water.
Dang.
Do you know what it would be like to eat so much?
I guess they're really hungry and they like really fat.
Well, we have a picture of one, and they grow to be about the size of a dog, which is small compared to other animals that live in the ocean.
Why would they have to eat more living in cold water?
Why do you think they need to eat more?
When I'm cold, I get really hungry. They probably get really hungry being in cold water all the time.
Yeah, it probably makes them hungry if they're swimming around all the time.
Yeah, well, a whale, which is very big, has a low surface to volume ratio, right? And a shrew, which is tiny, has this high surface to volume ratio. It has to run around all the time to keep warm. So as far as marine mammals go, sea otters are small, and since sea otters are small, they have a higher surface volume ratio. That's why you have to eat so much food.
Interesting.
Let's go check out the sea otters.
Yes, but come back after you do, okay? I have even more information to share about them.
Okay, we'll try.
Bye.
Bye.
And
Unseen.
so we're gonna ask our viewing audience if you were taking notes on the kind of pattern of talk, what is characterized by your codes. We've got a couple people viewing. You may have noticed that the educator did a lot of the talking. And when they did talk, they had a large volume of things to say. When our visitors spoke, they spoke in one-sentence responses, very little to say. We would characterize this because of how much information was shared and how few questions were asked. Sometimes questions were asked that the educator answered themselves very quickly. We would characterize that first a conversation as really a monologue. Not much dialogue happening. I was engaging you, you were part of it, but really that's characteristically what we call an educator monologue. Are you ready for our next scene?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So again, as you listen to the conversation, note who is talking, and beside their name, put how are they talking, so we can establish a new pattern of talk. Same prompts. Let's try it again. Hello. Do you know what this is?
Fur from a bear?
Well, it is mammal fur, but it's from a marine mammal.
Is it from a walrus?
Ooh, you're getting closer. Look at the size, though.
It's so small. Maybe it's from a sea otter.
That's right. It is a sea otter pelt. Sea otters have 155,000 squares per square centimeter. This little, bit right here. There are more hairs in that square centimeter than there are on your head. You want to take a look?
That's really thick.
Yes. Sea otter fur is really thick. Why do you think sea otters have such thick fur? Well, it does help keep them warm in some way, but think about it. When you get wet, does it help you stay warm when you're swimming?
No, not really. Maybe the thick fur is for when they come out on land at night and get real cold?
Most sea otters do not come out onto land. They live in cold waters, right here off the coast of Vancouver, all the way up to Alaska.
So, how do they keep warm in the ocean then?
Well, the thick fur they have does help them keep warm because they put air into their fur and the thick fur traps it, which creates insulation. What else do you think they need to stay warm?
Maybe they wrap themselves in kelp.
Oh, that's one way that they keep their babies from floating away. But to stay warm, sea otters have to eat lots of
Food?
food. That's right. They have to eat a lot of food to stay warm. Why would eating food be important if they live in cold water?
Maybe it's something to do with them being so small.
That's right. Yes, as marine mammals go, sea otters really aren't that big. And since they're so small, they have a harder time staying warm in the cold water. Even with thick fur, they have to eat a lot more food to get more energy to stay warm. Got it?
Yeah.
In fact, they have to eat a quarter of their body weight every day. It's like if you, at 100 pounds, ate how much food?
I don't know.
25 pounds?
Yes, that's right. You're a math stud. That's a lot of food they have to eat every day. They live in water that's cold, and that's why they have to have all these adaptations.
Okay.
We have a comment, and it said that eduportation, hard to explain. It's a combination word of education and interpretation.
And
It's when you were looking for the correct answer.
Yes.
Ah.
I'm probing for the correct answer. Another thing that you should know is that sea otters almost went extinct. Do you know why?
No.
It's because of this thick fur. People wanted it, and they hunted sea otters almost to extinction.
Wow.
Yeah. How would you go take a look at the sea otters out in the gallery? And if you have more questions, you can come back.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So that's
Ta-da!
version 2 of the same kind of conversation that could have taken place with visitors and an educator. We had somebody definitely notice that one of the moves I made as an interpreter was probing for the fill-in-the-blank answer. If you go back
Question
to...
is, as opposed to provoking individual connections.
That's right. And so an individual connection may have allowed for them to be a little bit more balanced. So if you were tracking our conversation with the codes listed here, I'm curious if you noticed, was there a different balance between educator talk and visitor talk? There may have been a slightly, did you feel slightly more involved?
Yeah, I didn't tune out at any time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely did in the first one, even though you were reading your script. Yes. So this pattern of talk, you may have noticed a lot more information shared, question asked, and checkmark response.
They said that they weren't feeling that they really saw much of a difference.
Oh, yeah, it can be very close to the monologue. That's right. One pattern you may have picked up on, though, is that we would have characterized this last conversation as an IRE. It's where the educator-interpreter provides some information. They usually use a question to get a response. Did you know that? Yes or no? Or why do you think that? Yes or no? And then there's an evaluation. So I either gave an affirmation, a correction, sometimes a redirection, a yes and twist. So I was still sticking to my agenda of the information I wanted to get across. It was clearly the interpreter wanted them to know about this fur, wanted them to know it was a key reason that these otters had gone extinct. So I still felt it was an educator or interpreter driven agenda, but under the guise of being a little bit more engaging, because I was throwing in those questions, response, evaluation to direct our conversation.
Definitely felt more involved in that second one.
Yeah. Great. Well, we have one final version of this scene to portray for you. And let's see if the pattern of talk varies in your note taking.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. What is that?
Well, why don't you come closer and check it out? You can touch it if you like. Have you seen anything like this before?
Kind of feels like my cat.
What do you notice about it?
It's really soft and thick. Way softer than my cat, and it has a long tail.
It feels really soft and thick to me too. This is the skin of a sea otter, and we call it a pelt.
Oh yeah, I've heard of sea otters.
What have you heard about them? What do you know?
They live in the ocean. They use tools.
I've heard that stuff too.
Yeah.
I think they use rocks on their tummy to help them eat.
Yeah.
They live near here, don't they?
Oh, for the cornball tips?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
Have you ever seen them in the wild?
No, but I'd like to.
Well, there are some that live here just outside this window in the ocean. And yeah, it's pretty great. I've seen some right on the rocks there. If you go outside later, you can check it out. Did you get a chance to see the ones that are inside displayed here? What did you notice?
They're really cute, but it seems like they're really, really itchy.
Itchy? What makes you say that?
They're scratching and rolling around all the time.
Oh, I know what you mean. And you know what? Scientists have noticed that too. And they think they figured out why the otters are scratching themselves all the time. Would you like to try and solve this mystery too? Sure. Okay, well take this magnifying glass and take a closer look at the pelt.
Huh. There's a lot of hairs all packed together.
Yeah, if you look really closely, you'll actually see an underlayer made up of even smaller hairs.
Looks like they're different kinds too.
Yeah, the fur is thicker than almost other animal.
I wonder why.
Warm, maybe?
Do you agree?
Yeah, lots of other animals have thick fur to keep them warm.
Have you ever been in the water, in the ocean water?
It's pretty cold.
And they're out there in the water all the time.
Yeah.
One thing I can tell you about the fur is it doesn't work well to just keep an animal warm in water. Think about your hair when you go swimming or get out of the shower and it's all wet. It really loses its ability to keep you warm. Well, same thing with the sea otter. And here's the mystery. How do you think this fur keeps them warm? Remember those things you noticed about the sea otters?
When the otter was diving, I saw lots of air bubbles.
Yeah, remember the way it was scratching?
But how can scratching and air bubbles keep it on?
Let's think about that together. When the otter scratches itself, it creates a layer of air next to its skin, and the thick fur traps it to keep it warm. The air in the skin actually keeps the skin dry, even in cold water.
Hey, could those air bubbles we saw coming off the sea otter come from the bubbles that are caught in between the skin and the hair?
Oh, I bet, yeah. I bet the sea otters have to scratch all the time because, like, the air bubbles escape.
That's really great thinking. You're onto something. Let's see what else we can figure out by the sea otters. You mentioned earlier you saw them using rocks on their tummy to eat.
Yeah, I saw in a book once where an otter was using rocks on a clam or something like that.
Yeah, they would need to use something to get through the
Yeah,
shell.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the shell of something they like to eat. Do you think they would need rocks to cover up everything?
Not this little muscle.
Oh, but look at this. This one's really thick. We definitely need a rock for this one.
Why don't you go have a look at the otters in the tank and see if you can notice any more behaviors that would give you clues like you did before. And there's some books over there that you could look through. And come back and tell me if you found out anything interesting.
Okay.
All right, see ya.
All right.
All right.
So there was an observation that the visitors, that it works better when the visitors lead the observations, or and that the questions come from them.
Right, so let's check in with our visitors. How did you feel in that last conversation in terms of balance between me as the interpreter talking and you talking?
I felt like I was talking to Sam a lot more, and I only really turned to you when you said something new about the pelt.
Yeah.
You really had us making observations that time in a more of a way than you allowed for the first two times, and we got to share what we knew that time, and you really sort of let us and talked about what we observed with the animals when we had seen them.
So if our viewers were coding that conversation, the I code should have appeared not just with the educator, but the I code should have appeared next to visitor 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah.
So the information sharing is happening in a more balanced way. And that's why we would describe this pattern of talk as a reflective discourse, right? The questions that I'm asking are not closed-ended, yes or no, but they were more open-ended. Questions were coming from you. Sometimes I redirected the question, even though I had the answer, to the other visitor. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that as well? This, in part, is why at Science World we call our floor team, our front-end floor team, Science Facilitators, because we're hoping that they aren't just dumping information on our visitors. They're not so much guides as there is facilitating learning. And when it happens in conversation, sometimes it's facilitating visitors talking to each other and sharing information with each other. Another great little anecdote, just to bring this into our site specific, is often as an interpreter, have you ever had the situation where you've just had a great conversation with someone, you've explained some new information, say about a snake that you're holding, and another person comes in and they start asking the same questions, and you're like, am I going to be a robot repeating all this information? a really great twist is to say, oh, I just shared that information with Alex. Alex, do you want to tell Sam what you just learned about this snake? You've now empowered your visitors to start conversations with each other. It even works with strangers. You'd be surprised. And it really, empowers them with that information and equalizes the sharing of knowledge. Now, there are times when a monologue is going to be your best default in a learning conversation, just on the setting. We found that we really can't get away out of a monologue too much when we're presenting science shows on center stage. And that information, response, evaluation, especially in a classroom setting when you need to know if all the students are tracking with you, can be really helpful. But we encourage you to think of ways to fold in a more reflective discourse and conscientiously structure the way that you talk to visitors to pull them into a dialogue, a learning dialogue, a learning conversation, rather than just dispelling all of that information. And it really does mean letting go of our agenda sometimes in order to allow them to be part of the information sharing. Any questions as we wrap up our Interp Tuesday broadcast?
We've got a couple of thumbs ups and some hearts and
Aw.
several saying that reflective discourse, very nice.
Yes.
Those have come in over the last little while.
Thank you so much for joining us on our Interp Tuesday Periscope broadcast from the beautiful sunny shores.
And
of
hello
Vancouver.
Museum Week.
Oh, and yeah, shout out, it's Museum Week, so we're really excited about that. You'll be able to get this broadcast on YouTube as well. It'll be archived there in case you had to come in and out during the broadcast and missed the introduction and doing some catch up. And we'd love to know in the comments if you're using this to evaluate any of your own staff's learning conversations or take a video of your dialogue with visitors. You can use those kind of codes to help you reflect on, are you really achieving the discourse you intend, or do you tend to default into that monologue interpretation style?
You can tell who you are when we are.
Oh, once again, this has been Rhoda Klein broadcasting on Periscope from Science World in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, joined with my friends Alex and Sam as well, and Elizabeth Hand on our video. You should spin it around and
Hi guys.
Nice.
Too beautiful to be stuck behind a camera. All right.
That's nice.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Signing off.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks
There you
for
go.
joining me.